for salaries, you're gonna have to do with less. But anyway, this is the 5-year plan that I presented to the council. Again, it is based off the calculations that I felt were reasonable. It'll change year to year, I'm sure, but it's just a plan to go, a conceptual start.
But Marvin, I'm so glad you're doing this, because otherwise we would just go year to year sort of blindly.
Right, we weren't.
Expenditures as long as we could, and then biting the bullet. If we didn't have a good assessment of the future, that's really does that.
Yes, and that is exactly what this does.
You put like an hour into this, didn't you?
An hour.
You don't really have to read it. It's impressive.
I don't know that it takes any action.
I heard it.
Betsy, does it take any action?
No,
No.
I don't think so. You're just presenting your plan.
Yeah.
Once again, we appreciate all your hard work, Marvin. I guess we'll move on to considering approval of Resolution 1064-2021, nominating candidates to the Tarrant Appraisal District Board of Directors. But
The mayor asked me to put this on him, and he wanted the council to appoint, what is his name? I'm really good. Gary Lasada.
Who's in the audience, sir?
Okay. You want to?
Please step forward. Tell us why we should be nominating you.
Well, you mind I drop my mask, because I'm fogging up my glasses.
Okay with me. But I'm the one that doesn't have one on, so.
Well, hopefully I'm far enough, but I have my shots. So.
I've been involved in the started.
My name is Gary Lasada, and I reside at 802 Dove Creek Trail, South Lake, Texas. I'm currently on the Tarrant County Appraisal District Board of Directors. About 2 years ago, I appeared before this council, and I asked for your nomination. And I guess you didn't like me very much because you nominated me, and then you voted for me, and I got elected. And here I am coming back for more of the same. So I'd like to, this is a little different. Normally I speak in the public comment section, and it's a one-way kind of deal. In this case, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's happened the last 2 years. And then if you have any questions, feel free to fire them at me. I do want to say that I'm not here to try to take credit for everything that's occurred the last 2 years. It takes 3 votes. There's 5 of us on the board. And though some folks have to be persuaded, it is moving in the right direction. Let me clarify something for you so you know exactly what's happening. The first regulation, according to the state property tax code, is that the taxing entities would need to nominate candidates for the position. That time frame will close the 15th of October, so this Friday. So if you do decide to nominate me, it's incumbent upon you to get that resolution to the chief appraiser before Friday, or he will not consider it. Then the second part of that is after that time frame, he then notifies all the entities who the candidates are, and then you'll have till the 15th, I believe, of December to actually vote. This year, I think you have 5 votes. In the past, I think it was 3.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So that's a good thing. You have more votes and more say. Now, let me explain a few things of what sort of happened on my first day. My first board meeting, I walked in, and I was just appalled. There was no American flag. There was no Texas flag. There was no Pledge of Allegiance. There was no invocation. I couldn't believe it. But a second meeting, there was. So we made it pretty clear that the culture had changed. And it is changing. So I do want to say that. Another thing that's occurred is meetings are now publicly broadcast. They weren't back then. There were a lot of folks that didn't know what was going on. If they wanted to hear what went on at a meeting, they'd have to actually file for an Open Meetings Act request and ask for a copy of the audio to be sent to them. Well, now it's live and it's available by the next day. So we're having a little bit more transparency than we've had in the past. Board packets are now available to the public prior to the meeting, so they can see exactly what we are thinking about, what we will deliberate about, and what we think are important matters to the district. In 2019, we had a budget surplus of $850,000. In the past, I'm not sure where those surpluses went, but I can tell you in that particular year, that money was returned to the taxing entities. I mean, it's your money. There's no reason for it to be spent just for the sake of spending it. In 2020, we had $1,250,000. That was residual in our budget, and we did the same thing. We returned it back to the taxing entities. I don't know how often that's been done, but I think it's something that needs to be considered in moving forward. We also were able to put in a policy that requires all billing agreements, contracts, or negotiated contracts in excess of $50,000 to come to the board for approval. In the past, that was not done. And that, let's just say it provided some opportunities for questions. Let's just say that. And so now that's been changed. We had our first comprehensive workshop this past June. First one, as I understand, that has taken place till 2016. And I think that budget workshops are critical for public entities in that this is what we hear the staff tell us is important, sort of like your 5-year plan. You know, if you don't know what's important from a staff's perspective, how do you plan for it? So we did that this June, and that went very, very well. I think that the culture at TAD has changed. It still has a long way to go. I really wasn't planning on running again this year. I had a magical birthday this past June. I turned 70 years old, and I've been serving the public for a long, long time. But my children and my wife, they all sort of ganged up on me, and they said, you know, all these years you've always been one that finishes something you start. You need to finish it. I said, okay, I'll give it one more crack. Coincidentally, one of the great things that happened in the state legislature this year is there are now term limits at the TAD Board of Directors. In the past, it was wide open, and I think there was one gentleman that served for 26 years. I personally have a problem with that, not with that individual, but I mean with just that long. But now you can only serve 5 2-year terms. And I think that's important too, because you need to have some continuity. I think if you were to nominate me and then vote for me later, I think I could bring that continuity at least for another 2 years and finish the things that need to get finished. So having said that, I probably have said more than I should, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Anything that's on your mind, if I can answer it, I will.
My first question would be, where can I find these videos of the meetings?
Oh,
so they're recorded, you go back and see it later?
They're audio.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you were to, did I say video? If I did, I'm sorry.
I'm sure you did.
It is
thinking in terms of what we do here.
No. There's nothing that's videotaped. It is an audio. If you were to go on the TAD website, which is tad.org, and you would scroll all the way to the right, you'd see something that says About, A-B-O-U-T.
Okay.
You scroll down, and then it will say Board of Directors. Okay, and if you scroll down underneath that, then you would see something that talks about audio for this date, for that date, or whatever. Also gives you the agenda packets and the agendas prior to the meeting. So that's where you can find them.
And they record past meetings, stay on?
You know, I don't know how long they keep them on now. I've gone back historically, just for my own references, as much as 6 months, and they were still there.
Yeah, okay.
I try to keep copious notes. my file's about this thick, you know, because I have everything organized by meeting, so if questions come to me, I can go